Welcome to Senate this week. Here I give you highlights of the activities of the Red Chamber brought to you by Other Paper Nigeria. I am Titi Lokwe Fadari. After sustained pressure from the public, the Nigerian Senate finally decided to intervene in the drama of the courtroom invasion by operatives of the Department of Security Service to arrest Yele Sowore, former presidential candidate who has been in their custody for over 3 months for convening a protest against President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. The chamber directed its Committee on Judiciary to investigate the issue. The Red Chamber launched investigations into flagrant abuse of the Nigerian Content Act 2010 and the Cabotage Act 2003 by operators and stakeholders in the maritime industry through ship-to-ship transfer with coastal foreign vessels. The committees on local content and petroleum downstream have been charged with this responsibility. Also to be probed by its Committee on Finance is over 20 trillion naira unremitted stamp duties revenue due to the federal government from banks and other financial institutions through NIBSS, a subsidiary of the Central Bank of Nigeria between 2013 to 2016. It must interest you to know that this is not the first attempt of the Red Chamber to probe alleged unremitted stamp duties running into trillions of naira, as similar efforts were made in the 8th Senate without producing any definite results. Declare state of emergency on unemployment. This was a message from the Senate to federal, state and local governments. The chamber also asked the federal government to initiate a sustainable unemployment fund for the payment of living stipends to unemployed Nigerians until such persons secure any kind of employment. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari wrote to the Senate this week. He sought for the confirmation of the nominees for the positions of the chairman and members into board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. On bills, a bill to scrap Federal Emergency Road Maintenance Agency and establish the Federal Roads Authority to provide for the ownership, regulation, management and development of federal road networks was read for the second time. On Wednesday, the Upper Chamber called for increment into constituency projects allocation following the passage of a bill for second reading to grant legal backing to the provision of constituency projects in the annual budget of the Federation by a minimum of 20%. This is coming at a time where President Muhammadu Buhari had lamented that billions of naira disbursed for these projects do not have commensurate results. Currently, the sum of 100 billion naira is allocated annually for zonal intervention projects. If the 20% proposal is signed into law for the 2020 budget, the sum of 2.1 trillion naira will be allocated as funds for constituency projects. More on bills, the Red Chamber passed for second reading a bill to amend the Police Act 2004 and expunge the gender discrimination provisions. Part of the provisions in the Act restricts female police officers assigned to the General Duties Branch of the force to telephone, clerical and office orderly duties. The Act mandates police officers to apply for permission to marry, while the intending fiance is also investigated for criminal records. It also stipulates that a policewoman who is single at the time of her enlistment must spend 3 years in service before applying for permission to marry. This is why I put a stop for this week's edition as I link you up with my colleague in the House of Representatives.